Hi, y'all. It's a pleasure to be here. I see a bunch of familiar faces from the old school, from summer school in 2001 and 2, which was fun, and from freshman year and half of sophomore year, which was a good time. Anyway, I'm here just to kind of tell you what it's like once you leave the program with or without a degree, but hopefully with a little bit of knowledge from the program. A lot of people who get into the program, as myself did for probably the first 10 minutes when I was sitting in my first intro class back yonder, or I think it was, I forget what building it was in. I was thinking, wow, this is great. I'm in the music business program, and I know now that, you know, if I hang out here for 4 years, this is going to look so good. I'm going to have such an advantage over those who are in other schools getting like a gen ed or some type of like business degree, and maybe something with a couple music classes, thinking they're going to go to a label. No, I'm going to go right to the top. But in actuality, I started to realize that the program itself is great, but at the same time, if you don't make outside experiences and connections, when you become a junior and a senior, you're going to start wondering, well, what am I going to do with this degree? And it's funny because Frederickson was here when I was, I guess, a student, and I was one of the lunch eaters. It's funny, I didn't even get into Loyola. I had a 980 on my SATs, and that wasn't really working as far as the Loyola standards. So in like 2 weeks, I was able to get a much higher grade because I actually studied or found out how to take the test. I came down here and I became a lunch eater. And it was funny because I was like, well, wait a minute. I mean, if I have one step, maybe I can just get to the next step. If I'm already sitting in the class, then why can't I just become a registered member of the music business department? So I tried, and by sophomore year, I guess I was in the program, and it was good. And I was studying, and I was getting good grades. I mean, it's the first time in my life I ever got A's, and I think it's because I was interested. I think that's the thing in high school, and you take the classes and you're not really feeling it. You just take it to get the grades, and then once you get to college, you really find out what you want to do. And this music business program is so great because so many of us want to be in the music industry, and this is a great way to do it. Finally, I think for me, freshman year, like getting good grades was one thing, but the experiences that I had, getting to work at Voodoo Fest, I remember with a bunch of my peers, freshman year was exciting. The House of Blues was great. Getting tied in, I think, outside of the community here is like very important. No other place, it's funny, in America, I think, can students so easily get into the city scene. It's funny because I know MTSU's got their program, Middle Tennessee State, and the thing is, you go to Tennessee and you're in this music business program, but you've got thousands. I mean, like, I don't even know what the number was, maybe it was a crazy number of students all in this music business program, but then you think, well, what's outside? You know, if I want to do hip-hop or I want to do drum and bass or something, I'm going to MTSU, and I'm sitting in a class, you know, and then I go to put on a show, and it's at a country western bar. Well, the locals might not appreciate that as much, but down here you have so many different styles of artists who are trying to break out. I found up in New York, a bunch of people who are up there at NYU, they usually have connections even before they go there. So it's good for them, just, I guess, like on another level. But down here, you can kind of just get yourself right into the scene without knowing that many people. If you just take advantage of, different, I don't know, like local, it's hard for me. I'm trying to remember what I did. I went right to the House of Blues and just applied for an internship, and they were happy to have me. If you just demonstrate the least bit of knowledge, I'm trying to think how else I could help you out. But also, it's funny, as I'm sitting up here, I also have to say, you shouldn't really get too distracted by college as far as junior and sophomore year. You should start thinking about the future, because in this industry, it really isn't about what you have on your academic resume. As what I said before, I can't stress it enough, experience. I mean, I've been DJing for 8 years now, and when I go to a job, it's not so much like it helps like what I took in college and how long I was there, but if I don't know, you know, like what's out and what's hot and what's being played, if I can't go in there and show them that I can demonstrate an an accurate knowledge of what's popular and what's going to help their club out, then I normally don't get the job. I know there's a couple DJs here, but it also works for bands as well. You'll see how a lot of people will try to book acts in the future that are going to break big, or maybe they have a popular style coming out. For me, it's hip-hop up in DC, and I think that's popular down here too. It's just different kinds. I mean, when I came back here sophomore year and I was playing go-go and old school New York hits and stuff like that, people loved it. And then when I would go back home to play up there in DC, we'd play a lot of New Orleans bounce and Juvenile and No Limit that they haven't heard. So that's another great thing, is to take the music that you find here home with you. I know a lot of you might be from California or out west, and they really don't have too much of what we have down here, up there and out on the West Coast. That's another important thing, is for you in bands and who are making demos. I think to take those back to your friends and pass them out is a great way to get exposure for your bands. For me, I have a bunch of friends out west, up in New York. Trying to think. Houston's big because they actually have a really big rap scene that a lot of people don't know about. It's kind of like New Orleans. I'm trying to think what else for me works as far as passing out my music. What kind of DJs? I actually do, for me, my thing is remixes. I've DJed for a while now, and the thing is, people don't necessarily follow lyrics anymore, which is unfortunate. Like New York style music, you'll find a lot of people are into what they were saying, like Tupac and Biggie. That's when kind of rap meant something. I think nowadays it's not so much about the lyrics anymore, because everybody's got 22s and rims and big-breasted white females. So I think it's important to kind of stick to the beats. Virginia, we have a lot of pride kind of because of our music, because we've got the Neptunes and we got Missy and we got Timberland and who else do we have? I think was it Babyface or Babyface, yeah. And those, it's just it's a different way of life up there, because there's so much talent up in DC, and that's the problem that I'm so frustrated with every day is when we make the producers up in DC are great. They just have no idea what they're doing as to get it out to the rest of the world. And that's kind of what I wanted to really touch on for you as I'm rambling up here. It's funny because I'm coming down on the plane going, what am I going to talk to these kids about? How can I try to give them an idea of how I feel about things, and what do I have to offer? I guess the thing is, it's just you never know what's going to happen. And that's kind of like why I like coming and talking. I mean, I do it a lot. I kind of advise people back home as to what to do. They come to me for advice because we do run successful parties up in D.C. and local clubs that I DJ at a lot. And the thing is, I think for me it's spontaneous and being original. I mean, people who used to know me, some people used to be scared of me, which which is okay, you know. But I think that's what's always been so much fun about the parties that we throw and the shows that we do. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, and people love that. I mean, I'm sitting up here trying to be all polite and, you know, but I just have to be real. I mean, people get tired of the same old crap that they see on TV. I mean, I don't even watch MTV anymore. I can't stand MTV2. It's all starting to change, and you just got to start thinking, like, get outside the box and think, what's going to attract people to this? Or when they see my flyer, what's going to say, damn, that wasn't made with a home copier. You know what? You got to put like lots of ideas, like, because you might think, nah, that will never work, but then you show up and you're like, good Lord, this was the best idea I ever had. And who knows what you were doing when you had that idea, but it's just so good to get those ideas and try to make them real. I think for me, the best way to kind of show you what I'm talking about for what I do would be to show you one of my remixes that I did do. The thing about my stuff is I have different remixes, and you'll hear, some of you might have heard of DJ Danger Mouse, who did the Gray album, and the cool thing about that was he took, you know, the Beatles, the White Album, which was so famous back in the day, and the Black Album, and, you know, thus we have the Gray Album. But what's cool about it is he put his own spin to it, and that's what a remix artist is. It's someone who has a lot of a feeling for lots of styles of music and can incorporate them together, and trying to put his spin on it, because sometimes you'll hear a beat on a CD and you'll be like, wow, the lyrics to the song are great, which is rare, like I said, nowadays, and then you'll be like, but that beat just sucks. And I think for me, let me see which one it is. I'm Swift T.
Swift T, are you with a crew or are you just solo?
I used to do, I don't know, when I was down here, let's see, what did I do down here? I was at House of Blues for a little bit. I'm kind of big back home. I'm more of a freelance guy. People just call me in when they need me as backup. I think for a couple of days I managed to sneak onto the CaliCom tour down here, and that was kind of my reason for leaving, because after like going around with like those guys, it's a totally different experience. I think once you get on a tour and you see what the lifestyle's like, it kind of gives you an idea of like, well, whether you want to go do that way or I don't know. And once I went on and I just saw it could be done, I had to go try it for myself. I started out doing like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like weddings and bar mitzvahs and stuff, and that's good for money, but there's not too much credibility there. You know what I'm saying? It's like I represent the, Horowitz family. Well, that's cool. I mean, how great was it? And that's what kind of, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm a pretty thin white boy, and I don't bring the pain. But I mean, when I'm throwing a party, it's, you best come correct because it's gonna be a good time. I am glad I am here because I encourage you to ask questions that you wouldn't normally ask people who come down to talk to you, because I'm just going to give it to you real. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I left college thinking, damn, I can do this. This ain't a thing. This book's crap, man. Like, I read it front to back in 3 or 4 days. This is nothing. This music business stuff is cake, but I'm not going to lie. I got out of school. I went home. I started throwing parties. It was great for a while, but, I mean, if you don't really have a plan when you leave, or you're gonna have those good times and they're gonna be great, and then you're gonna have those bad times and you'll be like, I have no idea when this is gonna come to an end. I remember, I mean, I really hit rock bottom for a while when I got home, and I just had to reevaluate what I was doing because I wasn't in it for. Once the money starts to get into it, you kind of lose why you started out in the first place. It's like, well, you make decent money, you're like, wow, this is great, there's more coming, and then all of a sudden it's like someone pulls your night just like that. I mean, unless you have a contract with a DJ, with a club for like a set amount of time, or if you do a couple tracks and you're copywritten or your name is somewhere on the contract, then there's really no way for you to know how long that term's going to be. I mean, you just have to be thinking and planning, and that's something I wasn't doing. I wasn't thinking about the future. I was thinking about, okay, I get this much tonight. How much longer will this last till tomorrow afternoon? And that's what the problem is I think you just got to be able to get out and say, if I really want to start an entertainment company, if I want to be a DJ, if I want to be in a band, I have to know that I need to have something that can supplement this lifestyle if I can't handle it all, from gigging, playing shows, selling CDs, and merchandise. I think I got the ghetto blaster out in the. Well, that's the thing right there. Now, that was my point about Danger Mouse, is when he came out, it was really good. Like the quality and everything, it was so cool because you take songs, like I said, the Beatles, and mix them with Jay-Z, and they were fabulous. But the thing was, is he put that on the internet, got millions of downloads in the first couple of days, and that's it. Both labels, who is it? It's either EMI or BM, who has, I don't know if any of you all know who has the Beatles catalog. Remember, Michael Jackson bought it, which was pretty crazy, and Paul McCartney was really pissed about that. It was funny because I think Paul McCartney told him he should buy it, and so Michael Jackson, among touching young boys, decided to buy all the copyrights. So he put that online, and days later, both Jay-Z's label and the Beatles said, we got to pull this off the internet. But what was cool about that for Danger Mouse was they didn't file any lawsuits or anything. But what it did do was help his career, and that was cool for him because it was like it was kind of a risk thing. And he was able to get a career out of it. I mean, he's played shows and festivals all over, and he's still booking and gets a pretty good price per night. I forget how much it is, like a couple grand, but still. I mean, also for
So are your presses legal?
Well, no, that's what I was just about to say. For me, I mean, I have with me, this is my latest thing I did, and it was actually a Jay-Z remix that I did of Moment of Clarity, and this one isn't legal because, I mean, I don't use any samples. It's a good reason that you bring that up because a lot of times DJs use samplers. I play everything myself, so that's one way of cutting out as far as buying the rights or whatever to a particular sample. I mean, they have free license samples, so you could use a hook or something like a guitar part or a horn part that they actually have on sample discs. But I choose just to play it live because it's a lot more exciting for me. I feel bad if it's not working. I can always, I don't know. That's kind of
It's not working. You got the CD player in the car?
I don't. I really don't. Is there anything though that you're curious about as to when you get out of the program, like maybe yes?
So do you record it live and then you play it off like a laptop?
No, the thing is, I'll do remixes live, as in I use a motif turntables, and then I have CD players. I use a sampler, and I'll do them live, just wherever I'm at. I mean, that's just what's fun for me. Is a lot of guys will pre-record their stuff, which is cool. But for me, it's more of what changed my idea was when I saw DJ Shadow at the House of Blues. He was up there doing a lot of. That's when his Reconstruction tour, I think it was, one of his last tours he was on. Actually, it was a while ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, that I saw it at the House of Blues, and he was just up there, and everybody's feeling it. He was mixing it live, but I missed because he was using samplers, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's good when you can actually play parts out. Like, there's nothing wrong with going to see a DJ, but it's also not as exciting. Like, if I went to see a DJ and he's up there playing instruments and stuff, I know, not like I'm really into it, but guys that have gotten big through that are like DJ Tiesto. I mean, he's done his most recent tour. He had bands come out, playing live horns, live keyboards, and that's exciting, even though he's like the main focus. And those are like 25,000 a night guys, like him, Oakenfold, and all those guys. To be honest with you, I think Oakenfold is the biggest joke I've ever seen. I don't know if y'all are big fans of him, but some of his remixes, he just beats to death. I mean, he had a U2 thing that he did. It's a Beautiful Day. Well, it's been a beautiful day for about 6 years, according to him, because, I mean, he'll come out year after year with a new version of it, and I don't know how could someone like that can stay on top. I think it's cool when it first strikes, but after a while, it's just, I don't know. That's a big thing. The problem we have up in D.C. is people will come out with pretty good hits, and then they'll keep trying out to people will take that remix and do it over and over again. That's kind of why, like, D.C. is big. We have a lot of different guys doing that. The label the record label where I get all my records, they do that, and their guys will put out 5 to 6 different remixes of one track a month just to kind of mix it up. That's the thing about DC. It does have a pretty good scene, but it's DC. It's strictly politics, and it's not enough music. Whereas you've got New York and LA that are really doing it. I think also one thing that I did want to say was the people that you meet at this school. I don't really think Loyola is the type of school that makes followers like MTSU or even NYU, or people who are all devoted just to getting the dollar and kind of after the same thing. I think down here, everybody's kind of an individual, and I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's the atmosphere. Maybe it has something to do with the South, but it's like the small classes and being able to like meet people on a one-on-one basis is so beneficial, because the people you meet in these couple years while you're here will be really helpful in the years to come, because you'll realize that maybe you don't have to do it all by yourself. I run across a lot of guys, DJs who do have big egos, and even artists. I mean, you guys see it all the time. I'm sure you guys know friends of yours who are just like, yeah, my band's the shit, or I'm sorry, or or like we're playing here and there, and yeah, we're taking off. It's just a matter of time. It's all good. And I think that's great, man. And I love it when people talk, because it's so fun when it's like they're talking it up and they're like, yeah, it's only a matter of time. And you go to their show, and it was one of the worst experiences of your life, and you're just like, good God. I mean, Gabe, you know what I'm talking about. And I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I think the more that if you're just a person of action and you just show people what you're all about, if you're like, yeah, maybe you should come to my show, you know, it'd be cool, come check it out. You should be like, yeah, definitely come, but I think once you just go and you see it, it's all about experience. I mean, it's one thing when you hear about a story, but when you're there for it, it's like a funny story. It's like, yeah, you hear about it, but when you're there, it's just so much more of an experience. That's why I always tell people, like, encourage them to come out and watch us DJ wherever we're at, because we really do have a lot of fun. What I was saying, though, about the people that you're meeting, like today, it's kind of like they'll be your best friends in, like, the years to come because, say, you know, you're trying to help this band in New Orleans, and when your friend goes up to New York, well, they can maybe help you push it, and you'll never know who they know. I mean, they could get, you all are going to graduate and get internships, or like some of you, I mean, have jobs already, and they'll be able to hook you up down the road. I know this girl I know, Heather, she's a nice girl, and I'm kind of required to say that because of the videotape. And she already has a job like right out of like 3 months till she graduates, and I think it's pretty amazing just to show like patience and hard work pays off, because you never know, like, that's just like who you're gonna meet. And she was able to meet her boss through a club owner in DC, or a club owner down the street. And I think it's just weird because if you're just a good person and you treat people the way that you want to be treated, in the end it will come around. I mean, I believe in karma to a huge degree, and you just have to be helpful to yourself and helpful to others, because then you'll see it really, in this industry, it sucks so bad. I mean, I can't even tell you the number of times I've DJed at 735, probably the worst place in the world, and come out of there with like $13 after like an 8-hour shift. I mean, that place, I mean, that was like one of my first places, and like it was like one of the worst experiences for me, but at the same time it taught me, like, make contracts, make sure you get paid, and go around and set yourself up for success. I mean, don't put yourself in those situations. I worked there for way too long, not really knowing how it all works out. I mean, I was just more having fun, like kind of the lifestyle, than I was like the life, like as far as being able to live and provide for myself. This should be interesting. I was looking forward to playing over the speaker. Next, I didn't know y'all had the full system here. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Did y'all ever go to DC? Has anyone ever been up that way? Is anybody from DC? Oh, really? That's exciting. Where do you live about? Yes. That's a good time. What's that?
What's your favorite club
In DC, Insomnia for a while. I had a long run there, and it was good. Right before all the stabbings, it was a really fun place. Yeah, it really was. That's when I kind of gotta skedaddle. I do the kick and run, so I'm not much of a fighter, unless I have to be. I really kind of want to put this on my shoulder when I play this for you, if that's all right for you. We will. All right. All right. What I have here is, okay. This is. I'm gonna do two things for you. What I want to do is I want to play you the beat first, because I want you to. Man, I'm sorry. The lights got me all nervous. I like the low lighting. It's kind of intimate. It's a good thing. It really is. I'm gonna knock that out. It's good to be back here. I can't stay here for too long, though. The city starts to get into me, and then I don't go home. All right. Let's see. All right, this. I feel bad because you can't really hear it back there. That was kind of when I played the words to the song. I think this is why I play the instrumental when I do this before I play the track, is because you kind of hear it when you hear the beat. It's cool if it's a good beat, but sometimes you don't really get the full feeling of a whole track if it's just the instrumental. I mean, if it's a good instrumental, you'll be like, wow, that's cool. But if you don't hear lyrics to go with it, it really doesn't make as much sense as to even where the person got the idea to write the track. So are there any questions as to why I really am here? I mean, you gotta be wondering, like, why is this guy here? Like, what is it?
I'll ask a question.
So, you are good at asking questions. Sonali?
Okay, so when you went up to DC, right? I don't know if you were DJing there before, but you said
I was.
You were. Okay, so you kind of gave me the impression that you had a run of success or something pretty special.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, so I think it would be beneficial maybe to some of these people here, especially underclassmen who maybe have not considered producing locally yet. How did you start your own regular?
The thing for me is a lot of people will say, and it's funny because if you listen to a lot of sayings, you're just like, oh, okay, I've heard that before, and it doesn't make much sense to me. But a lot of people, one thing that I did hear is you fake it till you make it. And I know it sounds weird, but at the same time, it's like when I went back home, I had flyers and down here, like at 735, even though it wasn't the most professional place, I did arrange like for me to have like VIP passes and stuff like that, and a guest list all the time, and drink specials for when I was DJing and stuff like that. And it's kind of like if you go to where you want to go and make it seem like you're everywhere and like you dominate a certain, not the entire, not like you're some great person that no one's ever heard of, but if you've kind of put your name out there and tell people about yourself and promote it where you know you'll get a response, it really helps out. And for me, when I say fake it till you make it, it's just I would go around and tell people, I mean, everywhere about my shows. It wouldn't matter if it was the mailman coming to my door, if I was out shopping, if I was, talking to somebody at the mall, if I was getting gas. I mean, I would put flyers in every single place I could, and it is some degree annoying, and I have gotten in trouble for it, but I don't care. I mean, I want people to find out. When you have something, you want to be excited about it and get it out there. And I just think it's important, if you really want to make it happen, is you get out and you're shaking hands and you're telling people who you are and you represent yourself to the fullest, and you get people to understand you, so then they'll want to come to your shows and see what you're all about. I think for down here for a while, I mean, I'm not going to lie, sophomore year, my methods of promoting weren't exactly up to par or probably legal. And so that's why, I mean, a lot of times people wouldn't probably come out just because they really didn't know me as much as they should. But now it's just more like when I'm back home, people are like, see, I'm pretty laid back and chill, and they're like, sure, we'll come check you out. We're down for supporting you. I think what you need is a product, some type of marketable product, which for me is myself and my music and, my demos, and then your appearance and how you can get them to listen to you and to respond to not just what you're trying to sell them, but to you. You don't want people just to use you for what you have. You don't want somebody to meet you and go, oh my God, this guy's got the best beats I've ever heard, but too bad he's such an ass. I mean, that just is not cool. I mean, you want to be able to be friends. Those are the best bands and the best crews and the best groups of people are people who are friends and then go into it. I mean, people who are just friends and then they realize, oh, there's a connection here. Let's try to make something happen. Let's do stuff. I mean, that's a lot of the bands here just started off as friends or like groups of people who had a common idea or ideals and figured, well, maybe we could put something together. We enjoy hanging out with each other. Let's just take it to the next level. Let's try to collaborate on something and make do something real. I mean, if you are making like great music, but the person next to you, you loathe and want to hit over the back of the head with a bottle, I don't see the point or the fun in it. I don't really see, I mean, and I know you all know what I'm talking about. Like, you'll meet people and be like, wow, it'd be really cool if maybe we could do something because they've got great ideas and I've got great ideas, and it'd be a lot of fun to collaborate with them, but that person is the biggest douchebag I've ever met. And it's just like, you gotta be real and be real to yourself and say, it's not worth it. Something else will come along. I mean, you just have to have faith. You guys have gotten here, which is amazing. I mean, it really is to some degree to be an honor to come down here, stay in this program, make something happen, get good grades, and then take it further and further. I sometimes really think I wish I could have stayed and seen what have happened, but for me, my path was to leave college and go home and try starting something. Luckily for me, it succeeded because I'm tied in up there. If I want to DJ, I make a phone call or a couple and say, I'd love to get put on tonight. Is there any place that needs me? I think also, though, I'd be kind of cheating myself if I didn't tell you, like, just to be, like, really just treat other people as you'd like to be treated. It just makes such a huge difference in the way that you do things. If you're just way cool about stuff and like are laid back and say, hey, that'd be great if we could get down on some stuff, and they're like, cool, let's make a track, or let's go throw a party, or let's sit down and maybe talk about some stuff, or I noticed that you wrote a really cool paper. That makes a lot of sense. Where did that come from? Don't be afraid to ask questions. I remember I used to sit right back there. I mean, with sophomore year, and I would just ask questions all of the time. I mean, freshman year, sophomore year, and people would look at me going like, dude, why are you asking these questions? Or I'd stand up and promote, me and DJ Dizzy Dick, and people would think I was crazy, but it makes sense. It's like, it's all about being different and having a great personality and like trying to offer somebody, your friendship and stuff. I've been like stabbed so many times in the back up in DC and down here, and like just gotten flat out ripped off because I really think I'm up to speed, and I believe that my time, my music, and what I have to offer people is valuable. And I think there comes a point where you need to start, like marketing it and getting paid. And I'll tell you, it's good to be friendly. And like I just said, you got to be friendly, and you got to make sense, and you got to be cool so people will be down with you. But at the same time, you have to be able to be firm too. And that's the next point, is also be firm and just say, you know what, this is not what we expected, or you're not getting what I think I deserve, or maybe you just have to treat me right, too. That's the thing, is it's that people think are like, well, this guy seems like he's a really nice guy, but I'm not gonna lie, I will be on you if you're not coming through with your part of the deal, and that's just how you all have to gotta be too, because it's gonna happen, because there's so many people in this industry who aren't that big, or who think they are, and then they come around like, no, man, like this is how it's going down. Last time I DJ'd this place in Fairfax, Virginia, where I used to have a residency at, it was my last residency before my strip club, which I don't talk about too much because of, my freelance gig. I don't do that anymore, but the last residency I did have, the second to last residency I did have, the last night I was there, I'm up there DJing. Everybody was way cool with me, the bars, the managers, and everything. But there was one promoter who just decided to come up and get all in my face, asking me to play this and that, and yell out an area code or something. And I was like, listen, dude, I'm just going to try to DJ. And he wouldn't stop, yell out 503. And I'm like, listen, man, I can't take this anymore. And he starts pushing and stuff. Now, that's the one thing I got to tell you. It's just like, you can be confident and get your work done. But when you start to get into trouble, it's the best thing to do. If you think you should pull out and just, stop doing what you're doing and leave a bad scene, that's another thing I say, get yourself into good situations too, because the music business is really, really shady. And there's a lot of people out there who are just out for their own wealth and to get themselves, known, and just, they don't really care who they step on to get stuff done. I think, I'm only trying to think of people who've gotten ripped off as far as copyrights and stuff like that. If you don't, a lot of the cool thing about copyrights are, like for me, I'm trying to think as far as, which is bringing me back to what I do as far as my beats and stuff. I believe that copywriting is like one of the most important things you can do, because the riffs that I play are usually all from myself. I don't copy anything unless it's like Cameron style, using like an old 80s tune or something like that, or like 90s. I love doing that stuff. That's a lot of fun. But But I think if you don't copyright what you have, it will, and you just have a real good feeling about it. Even if it's nothing special, but you just know it's yours and you want to hold on to it, and you want to be able to play it fairly and have people listen to it without stealing it. I mean, I really encourage you to buy that $35 or $45 form on the internet, or just print them off and send them in, because it's one of the best decisions that you will ever make. I can't speak from personal experience about it getting stolen, because everybody I deal with is really legit and they're really, really professional. But I just know I've heard way too many stories about this being the hottest beat and then getting it stolen. I mean, for instance, like, I don't know, I'd like to share stories about personal experiences, but I can't as far as what I know, other than what you guys might have heard of before. Right now I'd like to play... you all heard the beat earlier. It was kind of just laid back and chill. The song was actually, it's a Jay-Z song that was off his last album. And another thing about remixes, I know that I wanted to say was, some songs are perfect. They really don't need to be touched. And that's one thing that a lot of guys don't understand is Danger Mouse had a good idea, but he lost it right there, because there are some songs on there that are just stellar. I mean, Brush Your Shoulders Off. I mean, it's great, just a great dance track. When you hear it, 99 Problems, Rick Rubin, that was one of the best songs I've ever heard. I thought that was so cool. And it's not like he had to do the whole album, he just chose to, which was cool, maybe to make it complete. But sometimes I think a good remix artist doesn't necessarily ruin something that is good the way it sounds. I mean, it'd be cool to maybe mess it up for fun, but it's just if something's, I believe certain things are just meant to be the way they are, and you shouldn't mess with them. But for me personally, I just like leaving certain things the way they are, but if I really don't like a beat, then I'll change it. The guy who originally did this beat was another white producer, which not like it really matters, but his name is Eminem, and he did a good job. I'd like to, I'm going to play my track right now. It's the same thing, it's just with vocals, so you can get an idea of how it sounds. And I think this one's a little bit more mastered.
This moment of clarity, this moment of honesty, the world will feel my heart, not lifetime. I give in the curse. I gave you volume after volume of my work, so you can feel my truth. I built the dynasty by being one of the realest niggas out. Way beyond the reason you can't feel my shoes. Blueprint beginning to that black album. Ending, listen close, you hear what I'm about. You can feel my truth. I died, didn't cry, didn't know him that well. Between him doing heroin and me doing crack sales, with that in the eggshell, standing at the tabernacle, rather the church, pretending to be her. Wouldn't work, so smirk was all on my face. Like tan that leaves faces just like my face. So pop, I forgive you for all the shit that I lived through. It wasn't all your fault, homie, you got caught into the same game I fought. They don't parade laws, my big brothers and so many others I saw. I'm just glad
The guy who actually helped me master that's known as the Dub King. So he always throws that crazy reverb on there. So it sounds cool when it's in the club, but I don't know about the boom back classic there. Yes.
So how do you just like on the computer program you say
I don't use any computers. I'm strictly analog. So I use just everything analog. I use mixers. I use what do I use? I used to use a Mackie, which I loved. To get the voice on, I just play records or acapellas. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie, I hate computers. Like, I know it's the way of the future, and it's great for mastering and adding effects and stuff. It's way cool.
So you got a CD with just the voice on it?
I have acapella tracks. So I'll use acapella tracks, and I'll just set everything up and just go for it. I love, because that's what I'm used to doing. I know it's a little weird. It's hard to do it for everything. Like, I do have Pro Tools that I don't have yet. I have like everything for it. I haven't decided what computer system I want yet, if I'm going to do it, because someone gave it to me. They just want me to. It's like an investment, they call it. I don't know about all that, but I like analog. I think you get a much better sound from what you can do. I just think I don't know. I mean, computers are great, and I will use them, and I like using them for like. Those weren't. Those are actually off the motif. I used to have an Akai. I don't use it right now because for all my sequencing, it's easier to do on the motif. The motif has like my particular model has sampling on there, so you can add in your own drums if you'd like, which is helpful. I just liked it for those tracks. It was just easier to get a better mix on because when I play, it's so loud. And it's just those drums, they just hit good, especially with the bass. It's all about, for mixing for me, when I was doing that mix down, I was just like, these drums are perfect for what I need. I don't know, does anyone else do any type of like remixing here? Does anybody use any programs? I don't know if that was a popular thing to do. I've always done it. Does anybody have any questions maybe as to anything else that's going on? I'm glad that you all had me down here, though. It was great to be able to come back and talk a little bit, explain to you like my experiences. I do think one more thing is that like I said, like the best thing you can do is always be honest, and especially in this industry, because there's a lot of people who you never know who you'd be sitting next to, and they could be your one of your biggest allies in the future. So I encourage you all to always like kind of look for that outlet, look for that person, because they're there. You just don't know who they are. All right, y'all.